Staying in our comfort zones feels secure. It's where we feel like we have some control, we know the outcomes, and we don't have to face the unknown. But sometimes we get a little too cozy in our comfort zones and miss out on some of the things that we actually want to do. And sometimes our comfort zones may even become rather uncomfortable. For many trans and queer people, the closet is, or was, a comfort zone. It's one that I was in and I'm somewhat in again, although that's a topic for another video. Even isolation can end up as one, and that's clearly not a way to live a fulfilling life. But how do we get out of them? Well, that always requires some form of a leap of faith. Hello my darlings, and welcome to my little corner of the internet, where I demystify the trans experience from my own life and discoveries. To start, let's think about what a comfort zone actually is, and okay, I might be stretching the definition a little bit for my examples, but I think the framework still applies. They're a state in which we minimize stress and anxiety. They're essentially where we go to relax, to feel safe, have room to breathe, to feel control, and even have a sense of routine. They are often our general day-to-day. We feel confident in them because we're sticking to the familiar and minimizing risk. If that doesn't sound like a bad thing, well, that's because they're not. I'd for sure argue that they're in fact necessary. We can't run around anxious and stressed all the time. That's a surefire way to burn out. So why are we told to get out of our comfort zones, and why am I telling you to do that too? Well, that's because outside of our comfort zone is where new experiences lie, where we learn new skills, meet new people, and just in general move forward in our lives. There's very often very little reward without any risk. Unfortunately, when you stop moving, the world continues to move without you, and often without you realizing it. Slowly, other people may move on, you become more risk averse, and your life becomes more and more repetitive as things don't change. And soon, you start to realize that your comfort zone is no longer very comfortable. Give it long enough, or with the wrong mentality, then the idea of change, leaving that uncomfortable comfort, can feel more uncomfortable than staying right where you are. It's possible that you feel like your situation is normal. Everybody struggles with questioning their gender. Everybody's a little lonely. Or maybe you feel like you don't deserve happiness, or even deserve unhappiness. And maybe you just kind of feel like change won't work. I think the first example I'd like to talk about is voice training. Before and early on in voice training, it's easy to find yourself stuck in an uncomfortable comfort zone. Voice training is a skill, and for a very large number of us, a completely new skill. And by definition, learning a new skill is outside of your comfort zone. You very often start out bad. You're developing something new after all, but the anxieties and the stress creep in nonetheless. What if I'm never good at this? What if I never have the voice I want? And maybe eventually, this is impossible for me. It's just less stressful if I give up. And so you do. And your voice and voice training becomes this uncomfortable comfort zone that you're stuck in. And this process isn't unique just to your voice. This can happen with any new skill that you want to learn. Fashion, makeup, or anything you just don't feel like you have an aptitude for. Denial can also be an uncomfortable comfort zone. It sure was for me. I'd occasionally have questioning thoughts, but the idea of what it would mean if I was transgender was too scary. What change would be required if I was trans? All of those steps for transition? What would my friends and family think? It opened corridors of doors to unknowns, all of which represented things that could potentially change everything. The idea of all that change was terrifying, and I didn't think I was strong enough to handle it. And so I remained in that uncomfortable comfort zone, even as that discomfort grew. The closet, or even boy moding, can work in a similar way. Being afraid of the rejection you may face, the discrimination, and just not being able to handle the change. Now, the difficult thing is to make these uncomfortable comfort zones, well, more comfortable, is you have to get out of them, and that's scary and stressful. And to make it worse, if your baseline isn't that relaxing, then you're even more stressed and less motivated to get out of that zone. And that means you have to make a leap of faith. You have to leap and you have to have faith in yourself that you can survive and deal with the unknowns. Have faith in yourself that you can learn and that you will be strong enough. Now, this isn't to say that you have to get out and stay out of your comfort zone. I don't want to leave this ambiguous. You have to come back to your comfort zone. It's where we have room to breathe after all. We're just stepping outside of it when we can to make it more comfortable, to expand it even. In this way, we both grow and create a better space for ourselves, one where we can better relax and achieve a new, happier baseline. Although I say you need to make a leap of faith, it doesn't mean that it has to be a big one. There is such a thing as getting yourself into too much trouble, so it's important to learn how to minimize the size of the leap you need to make to expand your comfort zone. A slow expansion of your comfort zone is way better than leaping headfirst into the danger zone. For example, leap too far into voice training and you might find yourself not reaching the goal that you set yourself, or not practicing as often as you said you would. Doing that is incredibly demotivating and can easily cause you just to give up. If we look at building new skills, an easy way to minimize those leaps is to set little goals and slowly build up to the practice schedule that we want. This way, you expand your comfort zone at a rate that you can handle. Try voice training maybe once every other day, and once you feel like you can manage that, try every day. Then, maybe twice a day. Habits like this take time, and you don't always have to be pushing yourself. Voice training once a day for a month is better than trying to do it twice a day and giving up all practice after a few days. And then, with your goals, keep them realistic. Don't aim straight for that dream voice. You need to learn all of the individual aspects first. It ain't gonna come together all at once. You need to place one brick at a time to reach that high. And for the things like questioning or the closet, once again, little goals. Start off small. Don't think about that big scary picture. You don't have to know every step of the route you're going to take before you make the first one. Just put one foot in front of the other, and eventually you'll look back and you'll have come further than you ever could have imagined. And with it, a new, bigger comfort zone and more energy to continue expanding it. For my denial, I think at a certain point after learning enough about other trans people's experiences, I finally asked myself the simple question, is this who I am? No follow-ups, just simply, am I trans? And then I gave myself the time I needed to become comfortable with the answer. It was only after that I asked myself another question. I'm currently expanding my comfort zone in new ways. I'm in a brand new place, and I've returned to university studying something completely new, and I'm meeting brand new people. It can be exhausting, but I know it will be worth it. I remind myself that there are always going to be unknowns. We never truly can know what's going to happen, and so I will need to make leaps of faith if I truly want to make a change. We have to persevere some of the discomfort, the anxieties and the stress of leaving our comfort zones if we truly want to be comfortable in the long run and to live our best lives. It's tough, but you deserve the happiness that's awaiting at the end. You are strong enough to make the change that you want to learn that new skill you want to learn. It's necessary to take breaks and relax in our comfort zone, but don't pass up on too many new experiences. You don't want to stagnate. You want to continue growing into a better, happier, more you. Thank you for reaching the end of this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you feel motivated to push yourself a little outside of your comfort zone and trying something new that you've wanted to do. If you do feel motivated, feel free to let me know what you're going to do in the comments, and otherwise, please leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. I promise I will make a video a bit more about the updates in my life, but for the time being I'm going to drip feed some in my blue sky, so feel free to follow that if you'd like. But if not, I hope to see you in the next one. Take care of yourself. Bye.